Hey everyone, welcome back to Sham's Makeup Artistry, and today I'm going to review a foundation. And with this particular foundation, I took ages to come out with a verdict because I just could not make up my mind when it came to this particular foundation, and it's none other than the Bobbi Brown. This is their Skin LongWear Weightless Foundation, a broad spectrum of SPF 15. It's a full cover oil-free shine control foundation. It's a 1 fluid ounce foundation and it's a 30 ml of product. This is of course the signature box packaging of Bobbi Brown, and I am a personal fan of Bobbi Brown herself. I do like how she emphasized the beauty from within. I was actually reading the facts of the foundations online. This foundation retails at $46, and in this range of foundation there is about 29 shades available, so every one of us can definitely find a particular shade that would match our skin tone. Mine personally, I was actually matched by the Bobbi Brown consultant, and she suggested that I should go with 5.75, which is Golden Honey. I'm actually wearing the foundation on my face area right now for a couple of hours already before I came on and filmed this particular review for you. So like I've mentioned, I have been trying out this foundation forever, and to come out with a verdict, it took me such a long time. I've been also watching reviews as it went on YouTube, and I kind of felt that many of them loved this foundation as many of them did not like this foundation. So I will have a demo of myself applying this foundation on my face area so that you can have a clear picture on how it wears on my skin. This is again how the foundation itself looks like. It comes in a bottle packaging, and it of course comes with a pump, which makes it easy ever to apply foundations. On the website, the claims of these foundations are a 16-hour of wear, full coverage foundation with a natural multi-dimensional matte finish that's comfortable, breathable and weightless. Created through high-speed cold fusion process, this ultra silky emulsion features a perfectly balanced blend of skin-loving ingredients, oil-controlling actives and skin-true pigments. Incredibly smooth and blendable, it glides on with a second skin, feels multi-dimensional matte finish. Pigments are precisely balanced through artistry, expertise to skin's top tones, undertones to deliver the most natural looking shade range for all skin tone. It also says that it's an all-day wear foundation. Tried and tested in extreme heat and humidity, the 16-hour formula is a waterproof and sweat and humidity resistant. Flexible coverage, won't crease or streak and stays color true. Multi-dimensional matte coverage, treated with true pigments, suspended in an emollient gel base float on skin, reflecting light to enhance skin's natural contours and dimension. Instantly conceals redness, discoloration and pore with full yet natural coverage. And it also says that it feels like second skin, skin-loving and non-acnegenic formula with marine sugar cane algae extract and natural mineral powders to help control oil and shine. Meanwhile, moisture binding glycerin delivers refreshing hydration, skin feel balanced and comfortable, never tight. So this is what the claims are, and it also says that research result in 4 weeks, consumers have said that their skin immediately felt shine-free. They felt that it minimized their look of pores, said their skin looked even more toned throughout the day, said their skin looked fresh throughout the day, and they felt like the skin looked hydrated. And they also said that the foundation stood up to all their activities. So do you think that I personally vouch for this foundation like just what Bobbi Brown has claimed? I personally have a combination to dry skin. During the winter months, my skin tends to be really dry. Even though while applying the makeup, my skin tends to look dry, When I head out and then I progress through the day, I still notice that I do get a little bit shiny on my T-zone area. The rest of my face are pretty much like normal. They're not like really dry, but sometimes they do feel a little bit dehydrated, especially around my nose area. That's why I tend to get dry, but when I go out, I tend to get much more dewy, if that does make sense. Kind of confusing, but that's my skin status. Like I've mentioned, this foundation took me a lot of time to come out with a verdict. Reason being is, in a day when I apply this foundation, it glides on so smoothly, it wears beautifully on my skin. I was still doubting on the shade range. I felt that the foundation looks very light on my skin. It even looks light in the bottle itself, comparing to any other foundation that I have in my vanity. So I was kind of doubtful whether I picked out the right shade. So as I was trying out the foundation, the time that I put it on, I kind of felt like it looks white on my skin. And when I go out and then I look at myself under the sun, it kind of like looks like my very own skin. But this foundation does have like a yellow base, so when I'm wearing the foundation outside under the sun, I do feel that it pulls out to be a little bit more yellow. And of course, I do have like a more to a neutral to yellow base undertone. So the foundation shade, pretty much it does match my skin. I do feel that even if I pick one shade darker than 5.75, it would pretty much match my very own skin tone. That's what I personally felt. Will I be changing the shade? Definitely no. At this point of time, I personally felt that this foundation doesn't really suit my skin. When my skin feels a little bit more drier, I have to work a lot with this foundation. I did try using this foundation with my artist brush, and I felt that it did not give me any kind of coverage, and it was applying very streaky on my skin. And I did not feel like I want to use a beauty blender with it. I blended it out after I've applied all my makeup with a beauty blender, but when I wanted to put on the foundation, I preferred using my Real Technique brush with it. I just buff it in and then I swirl the brush and blend the foundation in. So I kind of felt that on my combination to dry skin, this foundation does cling on to the dry areas. Like I've mentioned, I do have dry areas around my nose right here, and then also on my forehead right here. So when I was applying the foundation, while I was applying my makeup, I did see some just clinging on to my dry areas. It doesn't awfully cling onto the dry areas because after I blend everything out, it disappears. It did not like just stay right there. But when I tried to put on the blending part of it, I had to be quick because this foundation does dry pretty quick on the face area for me, because I do have like a combination to dry skin. I personally would recommend this foundation for someone who has normal to oily skin, not way too oily, because I do feel that as the hours pass by, I did get a little bit oily on my T-zone area. Naturally, that's what happens with my skin type. So I personally felt that with someone who has oily skin, if you do live in a humid country, you might notice a little bit more extra oil coming out of your face. But if you're living in a climate that changes, like sometimes cold, sometimes hot, you may want to try out this foundation. It does wear pretty nice on the skin. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and it doesn't feel sticky on the skin, and it doesn't feel that you're wearing too much of a foundation, even if you put like a very decent 2 pump of this foundation. Again, I would not recommend this foundation for someone who has dry skin. Even though I have dry to combination skin, I still notice it clinged on to my dry areas. So if you tend to have like really dry skin, I doubt that this foundation might work well for you, especially during the colder month. It might just look very dry over your face area, and it might start flaking on your face area, if that does make sense to you guys. So that is my verdict on the Bobbi Brown Skin LongWear Weightless Foundation in an SPF of 15. It's of course a full coverage foundation that gives you a natural looking gradient. To my very next one, stay beautiful both inside and out. Give me a thumbs up, share all the love and support, and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.